As many of you know, the rapture's on Tuesday. I've given away all my earthly possessions to the heathens that I know will not be coming with us, the chosen ones. I've already transferred the deed to my house. I just need to give this car away. None of this material stuff is going to matter on Tuesday, the 23rd, when I get raptured. And I just want to say, it's not too late for you to be a part of the rapture.
Welcome to True Jamaica Buzz News and Entertainment with a Buzz. The video that you just heard, don't know if you are aware, but there's a group of religious fanatics out there that are claiming that the rapture should have been on the 23rd of September 2025, which should have been yesterday. If you're listening to this video, then obviously the rapture did not manifest. Obviously, somebody was scammed, somebody was shammed, somebody was bamboozled. What this means is that there were a group of religious fanatics that thought that the world was coming to an end yesterday. It is today. So therefore, they would have been deeply disappointed because of the extent in which they went, sold off their worldly possession or gave away all their worldly possession. Because some religious leader, some nutcase, told them that the world was going to end yesterday. Obviously, the world did not end because this is today. Now, people, it is good to believe in something, and religion is good because at least it tells you the difference from right from wrong. So therefore, it makes you be in a better place mentally, better place as a human being. However, some of these leaders are nothing less than scammers, shammers. They know that these persons are deeply dependent, looking for someone to trust, a place to feel confident in. So therefore, these people manipulate these persons for monetary gain, just tell them a whole bunch of crap that they want to hear. So what this problem means is that all of these disciples, all of these sheeples, these disciples that govern over these sheeples, are probably laughing all the way to the bank right now today on the 24th, the day after the rapture was supposed to have taken place. So these people sold all their worldly possession, and more than likely gave the proceeds of those possessions to the church. So these church leaders now have their title, their deeds, all their worldly possessions, meaning cars, meaning house, meaning whatever, jewelry. And this was signed over legally. So therefore, the church now owns this. I guess what they are going to tell them that they had a little confusion, there was a little mess up, there was a little glitch in the system, and the rapture is going to be a next day, a next year, or a next couple of months from now. And these persons are going to believe it because they are dumb, young, and full of cum, while these leaders are full of shit, point blank, and period.
Boy.
Hold on, me give you some light.
Hey, relax yourself.
Relax yourself.
No, look.
You don't want no light.
Make sure you have video, yeah? Make sure you have video.
Good. Hey, you're lucky as fuck. Yo, my old, me say you're lucky as fuck.
Yeah, man, come out to the thing in your hand. Come out to the thing in your hand.
Put this on the video, yeah?
Yeah, man, put it on the video.
Put it on the video.
That me I tell you. Yeah, from video. That me I tell
Yeah,
you.
man, send that out.
And for my safety and whatever. We not say no. We keep that video.
Hey, you're not obligated for sure them nothing, man. Them good, man.
Just as say ignorance in our work. And that's how it is.
If a man never move to come in there.
Make nice for that now.
That's all.
So the next thing that is popping in the news, based off the video that you just saw. Don't know the start of it, but apparently, based on what I am seeing, my interpretation is that the police was on an operation, a mission. They probably chased this youth, he ran into this bar, ran into the establishment, or they raided the establishment, a bar. When they were searching the individual, they took off, seized a gun off him with a magazine with a couple of rounds. However, while they were frisking this youth, apparently the bartender or somebody in the bar was telling the police, how you angle the youth, sir? How you abuse the youth, sir? However, when the police searched him and found that tool and that lady or that person in the bar that was speaking at the background, the police showed them the gun or show that person the gun and say, see it here, while you are videotaping, make sure that you also videotape this because this is the evidence we are just doing our job, our work, we are work. In other words, of the great Bigger Ford. The police also made it very clear, listen, he is lucky. And lucky is the actual word because based on what you see is going on social media, especially after that incident that took place in a Cherry Tree Lane in which that youth was taken away and a couple of officers, at least 10 or so, were taken off frontline duty. You know that the police them are not feeling very good about their compatriots right now. You know that the police are in their feelings and this youth is lucky to be alive. Call him lucky because he should have been sent to the afterlife. Point blank and period.
In this video alone, we count at least 10 policemen and women in conversation while Jamar is outside. The last video was recorded at 3:31 p.m. The other tenant says the internet was disconnected and his 3 cameras upstairs taken by police. He brought us to the room and showed us what appeared to be bullet holes in the wall where Jamar was reportedly shot. Bloodstains were still present. Indicom has all the footage seen by CVM News and is investigating. The other tenant has since moved out in fear, telling CVM News the police have circled the area every day since the shooting. Residents staged a protest on Saturday demanding answers. Jamar's aunt, who raised him, also wants answers.
It don't take a rocket science to know that you have to have a search warrant. Whose name is on the search warrant?
So the next thing that is popping in the news, buzzing topic all over social media in our real life, is of that extrajudicial takeaway that took place in a Cherry Tree Lane where a young youth, 22-year-old at the time he met his demise, Jamar Farquharson, was taken out by the police. The video that you see showing on the screen as I speak is of that actual incident that was taken by CCTV video camera. You could see the presence of at least 10 police or so. The video also showed that he ran to the door when he heard the police knocking, opened the door, hands in the ear, cell phone in his hand. Police walked past him. He was no threat at the time. Eventually, he would end up losing his life in what the police claims was a shootout. You see in the video, the actual room in which he was taken out, that room was actually riddled with bullets. So apparently, after the police took him away, they then went in the room, blazed up the room with corn, or then when they took him out, that was when the room was riddled. Now people, more than a riddle, more than a guess, nobody knows. Why is it that a youth that ran to his door got cornered by the police in such a way? That crime scene looked like the crime scene of that crime scene in Amandeville, where we know it was obvious we could hear the shootout with the police and that individual known as Brown Man. However, there's a polar difference in what took place when it pertains to Mr. Farquharson. There was no shootout, there was an obvious surrender. He met the police go ahead and do their lawful duty. Well, people, since then, Indicom has responded, and also Jamaicans for Justice, specifically Michael Jackson, had something to say. So I'm going to let you take a listen, take a look at exactly what both had to say, and then I'll give my piece.
there are many questions that require urgent answers from the Jamaica Constabulary Force and certainly from INDECOM as it undertakes its investigation. It raises serious questions about what happened during those moments and the justification for the police officers to interfere with the cameras. The questions that citizens must join the family in asking: what were the specific circumstances that led to the use of lethal force against Jamar, especially given his apparent surrender? We also call on the police commissioner, Dr. Kevin Blake, to give the country an update as to the status of the procurement of the body-worn cameras. I think when we look at this particular incident, it is very clear that there need not be any specialized body-worn cameras, because the ordinary body-worn cameras that are currently in use would be just fine, because it would give you an idea of what happened before, even if not during, but certainly after an incident, to aid with quicker conclusion of an investigation.
The concerned officers were interviewed for an initial account. Statements should all be submitted by today, September 22, 2025. The team had also canvassed for digital footage with regard to the incident. Section 21 interviews are scheduled with the attorneys for the officers for next Monday, September 29, 2025.
It is early stages and early days because Mr. Parkinson was only shot a week ago, one day. The officers have given an initial account at the time of the shooting. The scene has been fully examined and forensic evidence recovered. We still await the post-mortem, and the officers in turn have to come to the office to where they'll be further interviewed as witnesses at this time. Just the other day, he said that the use of body-worn cameras would engender public trust in law enforcement and protect officers from false allegations and provide an objective account of incidents which might otherwise be open to interpretation. And what we have here, in this singular case, Mr. Foxton was the 219th person to be killed this year. But in this particular case, CCTV evidence provides another perspective, which is certainly open to interpretation, and body-worn cameras by these officers or the lead officers would be able, both the JCF, to provide an accountable and transparent timeline, and we would be able to observe it.
And what is consistent with what the Indicom boss had to say and what the JFJ had to say is that body cameras need to be worn by these police officers so that any question alleviate any sorts of doubt as to if this was justified takeaway or extrajudicial. In this case, it is obviously extrajudicial. Now, people, here's my views as it pertains to Andrew Holness, as it pertains to Justice Security Minister, as it pertains to the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Blake, Dr. Blake. These people need to come out and make a statement. These people need to come out and say something. However, like I've always said, they are in deep denial. They will back the badge with every instance. Or is it a case that they are allowing the police to do their job? No, people. It is the responsibility of persons, meaning the head of the state, the Prime Minister, the Justice Minister, and the Commissioner of Police to make a statement whenever anything goes like this. So we can see that there is some sorts of cover-up or they're being very cautious, whichever way you want to take it. Now, when it comes to Dr. Chang, we see that he is in deep resistance for not these officers wearing their body cameras. He has been making all sorts of excuses, saying that the cameras that were gifted in a grant from overseas, UK, America, they are not appropriate for the job, so they returned it. The man actually returned all of these body cameras, hundreds of them that were given. New cameras, he claimed that they are not appropriate for the force. He claimed that when you put these on the uniform that they had, so that is why they changed out the uniform. And yes, the new uniforms look better. Them not look like patch-up. However, those were just excuses. So now he claims that they are ordering new cameras and these new cameras are on their way. But it seems as if these cameras are on the slow boat from China because it is taking forever and a day. So we know say a promise is a comfort to a fool. People, at the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong. And if you have the technology to avoid any sorts of questions, any shadow of a doubt, why wouldn't you wear it? Unless, of course, you know within yourself that, listen, the police out here doing some illegal stuff and it is going to show us up. We're going to have the evidence. Our persons are going to see what persons like myself have been saying all along. Some of these police are rogue police. Some of these youths in some of these places that have been taken out are actually innocent people. And people, I understand that there's a thing that is called collateral damage, casualty of war, where certain people, innocent, are going to lose their life in the war, which is a war on crime going on in Jamaica because of how desperate the persons have become. However, whenever you are taking away too many persons on a rapid basis, that is reasons for concern. And this case, meaning Jamar Farquharson, is an obvious case where this is extrajudicial, without a shadow of a doubt. So I just say, do the right thing before the wrong thing. Do honor, meaning the police are more innocent people, ends up losing their life, point blank and period.
Hold on. Pull.
So the next thing that is popping in the news based off the edited version of the video that you saw on the start of this is of an accident that took place in a Strawberry Hill that is in St. Andrew. I am thinking rural St. Andrew. And then the next incident that took place in a place known as Dublin Castle that is in Garden Town that is also rural St. Andrew, I am assuming. The first incident in which you saw in the video is of a lady that lost her life at Strawberry Hill. It is said that the vehicle plummeted in a ditch. That ditch looked like a couple 100 meters down in a gully. She did not make it. The next incidents and pictures that you see on the screen are of the incident that took place in a Garden Town, in which it is said that a school bus or a bus, minibus, running a ditch also. At least 10 to 15 students were in it. They were injured. They were rushed to the hospital.
19 of the 20 students involved in yesterday's crash along the Dublin Castle Main Road in Gordon Town, St. Andrew, have been treated and released from hospital. The crash occurred about 3:15 p.m. It's reported that a high-ace bus was carrying students from the St. Martin de Porres and Louise Bennett Coverley primary schools when, on reaching a section of the main road, the vehicle developed mechanical problems. The driver reportedly managed to restart the vehicle. While driving along the roadway, it developed further issues and shut off before running backwards down a hill and overturning. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says she visited the University Hospital of the West Indies, where the students and driver were treated. She told Radio Jamaica News that most of the students received minor injuries, but the driver and his son received burns during the crash and remain hospitalized.
So they are critical but stable. I was able to speak to both of them. Both of them were responding to me. So they're going to be okay. Obviously, they have to take care of them because of those severe burns. But the other children, there are a few of them that have slight burns, maybe some injuries, but they are all able to go home. And when I left the hospital, they were going through the last of the x-rays that they were doing. But thank God, they're going to be okay. They are traumatized. I mean, they were telling me stories of them having to break windows to get to them and how they were shaking after the accident. They're traumatized. I mean, they're holding up well. They don't necessarily have the physical signs of the trauma, But internally, we know they're feeling it. And so our counselors are being deployed to work with them from tomorrow.
So the next thing that is popping in the news is that we saw that the police went on a special operation at St. Catherine, Portsmouth to be specific. They had the intention of holding on to a man that has been wanted for several shootings, several takeaway of life. His name is Ricardo Bird, known as Full Clip. When they went to the area of the house to execute that warrant of DEATH, it seems as if Full Clip smell a rats, fling him M16 or the M16 that was in a rice bag, take the rice bag, jump a couple of fence, the police start chase him drop the rice bag. When the police recovered the rice bag, check the rice bag, there was a M16 rifle magazine containing 7 rounds. However, Mr. Bird Full Clip did not stick around. I want you to take a look at exactly what Assistant Superintendent of Police, his name is Leighton Gray, had to say when he is issuing out a warning to Mr. Gray and other criminal elements in the area. Take a look, and then I'll give my piece.
I want to take this opportunity to inform Ricardo Bird, OC Full Clip, to turn himself into the police as a matter of urgency. We continue to implore residents to continue to support and offer support to your police. And we are committed to continue to serve you and give you professional service. We trust and continue to rid your communities of these ruthless criminals and have you, the citizens, enjoy peace and comfort.
Now, people, if there was ever a circumstance in which an individual criminal element was supposed to lose his life, it would have been in a case as this, wherein this man was wanted for shooting, wanted for murders, and when they actually went for him, he did not surrender. He was seen running out of the house, the premises, with a bag containing an M16 rifle magazine and rounds. He should have gotten a couple of rounds from the opposite side of the police. However, like these criminal elements, they are always lucky or skilled in the art of getting away. Such is the case as it pertains to Full Clip. So the police is sending out a stern warning, listen, don't make we catch you, because the next time you won't be so lucky. Now, people, this is what I have a problem with a lot of these operations. You hear say, man jump through window, man run out a back door. Whenever you're going on any sort of special operation, you're supposed to be stealth, meaning that you creep up on the people, make sure that you cover all perimeters, meaning windows, meaning doors, meaning fence, just perimeter, everything around the house. However, we've seen lately, it seems as if these police are not following the protocol, and some wicked men are getting away, or some wicked men live to take away more people, including police. Makes absolutely no sort of sense. Point blank and period.